So I am guardedly optimistic this morning, and the reason is because CurtisYarvin is scared. While he holds no institutional power, Yarvin is still the principal architect behind the ideological movement that's driving Trump and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all of those people, and he is currently so sure that that movement is failing, that it is not succeeding in its goals, that he believes when it falls, he is going to have to flee the country for his own safety.
Does that say what I think it says? Well, Curtis, pardon my French, but where the f*** think you going? You think you just gonna get out of this and walk? Hey, y'all, he trying to leave, bro. Nope. You don't get to run now that you think it's a failed experiment. Nah, bro. No, you don't.
Man, you know how many people are going through a reckoning in regards to the election and how they were supporting Donald Trump, and now people are trying to backtrack. So first you had the first wave of people disappearing and denying it, like the Jill Wade, Jill Stein, Cornel West, all those clowns, right? They went away. They slinked away just like that groundhog Jill Stein. They just like disappeared. And now you get like the second and third wave of are these content creators, right? These content creators where they were especially white, but not exclusively.
CurtisYarvin's head should be the first head on a stake.
Wait a minute. So the people that advocated for this fascist regime to take over the country and have all authority are now afraid, and they are trying to flee the country because they think that their supreme leader is taking things too far and that this is not what they voted for. Like, they're afraid that the Dems are going to revenge on them when they take power in 2029. So they are planning an exit route and they are announcing it and putting it on their social medias. And a lot of them are coming on social media to change their talking points and talking about how this is not what we voted for. Like, when the man himself is doing exactly what they put on social media, he's doing exactly what they wanted, but they know that they can't escape this wrath. You can make these things up, but Dems and people, Americans, are like, no. You are not going to run. You cannot start this fire and let us burn in it. We are burning together. You ain't running. Welcome back to the channel, my people. How are you all doing? Hopefully God has protected you and preserved you very well. Thank you to all of you that keep supporting me on here. Shout out to my members. You guys do me amazing. Yes, we have another interesting episode in the house. CurtisYarvin, a man that was behind like ideologies of fascism and dictatorship and wanted Trump to come to power because the democracy is falling, and what will work better for America is fascism, is planning to exit the United States of America because this is too much. And you've seen other people that are literally now stepping back. They're like, we did not vote for this. Joe Rogan, other podcasters. And Americans are like, you know what, you're gonna stand on business. But I want us to watch these reactions and these so-called MAGA influencers that are trying to flee and distance themselves from their master and run away and find safety somewhere else. We'll come back and talk about it. Let me know what you think. Do me a favor, like the video. Don't forget to share, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with more.
The vile writings of CurtisYarvin, the spiritual leader of the far right. This dumpy little dude is CurtisYarvin, and he is one of the main reasons the entire world royally sucks right now. And he has inspired the far right to seize power and attempt to enact a technocratic monarchy in America. He is the genesis of everything that is wrong in modern politics and everything that threatens us as Americans. This man is your villain. Yarvin has said insane things over the years. He once advocated for murdering anyone he deemed unproductive and converting them into fuel for buses. He then said he was joking and instead we should imprison the unproductives in virtual reality, locking them away until they die. Yarvin's writings have earned him some pretty influential followers who hang off his every idea, including fascist-ass Peter Thiel and couch enthusiast J.D. Vance. He's advocated for dictatorship. In fact, he fully supports the idea of transitioning America into a white nationalist autocratic state, made up of what Yarvin calls patchworks, small individual realms, ruled by techno-corporations who have absolute power. Look, just hold on for a minute. I know this sounds insane. It is insane. It is incredibly psychotically insane. But it is also the driving philosophy that J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel personally adhere to. For example, the idea of purging all civil servants from the government and replacing them with controllable sycophants? That's Yarvin. Putting total control of the federal government in the hands of the president. That's Yarvin. Dismantling the DOJ and FBI. Yarvin. This man is insane and utterly unhinged. He said that white people are genetically smarter than black people, that Germany was just defending itself during World War II, and that America must become a dictatorship. And this is who inspired Project 2025. This is the modern Republican Party, and J.D. Vance worships at his feet.
So I was just alerted that CurtisYarvin wants to flee the United States. And in case you don't know who CurtisYarvin is, he is a wackadoodle blogger who wants to create his own government that is completely like police state dictators. In fact, he said this once.
If Americans want to change their government, they're going to have to get over the dictator phobia.
He's besties with Peter Thiel and is quite possibly the inspiration behind the whole Palantir thing for the police state thing. Peter Thiel, who has tried to create his own sort of little countries in other countries and then ended up suing those countries because it didn't work. Like CurtisYarvin and the tech bros got together and they wanted to take over the US government to create their own government. Oh, and J.D. Vance is also a huge follower of CurtisYarvin, and that's the whole reason that he is the vice president today. So I guess the only good news we have is that CurtisYarvin wants to flee the fucking United States because MAGA is out of control, after he and all the tech bros used the algorithms to help Trump get into power. And CurtisYarvin, just a few hours ago, wrote on his Substack that he was thinking about fleeing, but apparently he can't even commit to that because he actually erased that whole section. We're not even a year into them trying to take over the government, and it's already super fucking bad for us. So he's trying to flee? It must be really fucking bad.
I am not surprised that someone like CurtisYarvin is making plans to flee the country. I called this. I said this many months ago that people like him, people like the spaceman, people like Peter Cottontail are not individuals that you should be afraid of. All of these cowards that talk about dark enlightenment, creating this whole new society where democracy isn't real and where they take everything over and they run your life and tell you how you're going to live through their technology was BS. The thing about people who talk like this nowadays, it should be a foregone conclusion. These people don't really have the stones to do the things that they say they want to do. They are fanboys. They are cosplayers. They are people who see these things as a wonderful fantasy to maybe we can make this happen someday in our lifetime. But they don't want to really get their hands dirty. They don't want to really get down in the mud and make the society that they say they want to make. But they promote this stuff. They promote it. They get people on board with it. They get themselves involved in politics, and they get influential people to support these ideas. And then it grows to the point where the law is being broken. Civil rights are being broken. Human rights are being violated. And the people who were championing this, the people who were cheering this on less than a year ago, now all of them are looking for a way to escape. They're all looking for a way out. But you're not getting out. You're not. This is what you wanted to build. But the point that I made many months ago is what's coming true right now. These people thought that we would be trapped in this country with them. But the reality is they are trapped in this country with us.
So I am guardedly optimistic this morning, and the reason is because CurtisYarvin is scared. While he holds no institutional power, Yarvin is still the principal architect behind the ideological movement that's driving Trump and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all of those people, and he is currently so sure that that movement is failing, that it is not succeeding in its goals, that he believes when it falls, he is going to have to flee the country for his own safety. I am not saying the cavalry is coming. I'm not saying we don't have to fight. Nobody is going to save us but us. All of that is as true today as it was yesterday. But when you get panicked, when you want to freak out and run away because you think things aren't going well for you, CurtisYarvin doesn't think things are going well for him either. And given how much he's invested in this, that's a pretty encouraging sign. Anyway, have a nice day.
Man, you know how many people are going through a reckoning in regards to the election and how they were supporting Donald Trump, and now people are trying to backtrack. So first you had the first wave of people disappearing and denying it, like the Jill Wade, Jill Stein, Cornel West, all those clowns, right? They went away. They slinked away just like that groundhog Jill Stein. They just like disappeared. And now you get like the second and third wave of all these content creators, right? These content creators where they were, especially white, but not exclusively, joyfully going, supporting Donald Trump, or not saying anything in support of Kamala Harris, but not saying anything negative about Donald Trump. And they were just riding the wave of white supremacy, right? And now that all this stuff is coming out, the brands, and their own little brands, they don't want to be associated with the mess, even though they contributed to it in their own way. And so now you see them scrubbing their pages, or they're saying they're against something, or even like that country singer guy, he put out a little song, "This is not right," and he was supporting Donald Trump. And then you got all these people saying, well, I didn't really vote for this. And you got these big YouTubers like Joe Rogan and, you know, all those clowns saying, well, this is not really what we were for. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, y'all stand 10 toes down. This is your man. This is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all voted for. Y'all need to be like those MAGA lunatics who are out there saying, this is exactly what we wanted. We want all this trouble and all these problems, even though they're as broke as dirt. They can't afford food. They can't afford gas and energy. The jobs are on hold, or they got laid off. If they're farmers, they can't sell soybeans because Argentina punked your president and China's over there laughing. It doesn't matter. Because you know what? If you associated your brand, you put all your little things in a bucket for Donald Trump, and now you're looking like the jackass that you are, ain't no coming back from that. Ain't no coming back from that. So I would like to say to all, because look, I'm old. I'm 61. Like, these content creators don't matter to me. Like, whatever they're hawking and selling, none of that matters to me. But if you are in that age span where that stuff is important to you, and now you get a really good look at idol worship, right? For lack of a better term, putting your thing, your energy, your support, your money, your views, your clicks, your likes, your shares into all that kind of crap. And now you see who these people, who they really are. Let that be a lesson to you. Like, let that be a lesson to you. Do not do that. And you know what? If it were me, I wouldn't even follow these clowns, because they're going to flip with the wind the next election. You better believe it. So let them go now, and you'll be better off for it.
In follow-up to my earlier post, I have a question for all of you guys. Who do you think is going to leave the Trump administration first? Or, as I like to call them, the Trump regime. Before I tell you who I think is, it should also be of note that word is CurtisYarvin, who's one of the architects behind everything that's going on with this administration, this regime, all the bad actors. CurtisYarvin is expressing lately that he thinks they're blowing it. He thinks the whole plan, they didn't think it out right, and it's going to fail. And word is he wants to leave. He wants to leave the country because he doesn't feel so safe. You know, there's Peter Thiel and all these other people that, you know, are in the background and don't want you to know who they are. But CurtisYarvin, he was the guy they were all relying on early on and said he's the one with the great master plan. And apparently he doesn't have much confidence lately. And as I said earlier, I think Trump is a wannabe dictator and it ain't going to work out for him. And I think the administration is going to start falling apart. And I think one of the first people to go is going to be Marco Rubio. They're going to come up with some excuse. He is going to come up with an excuse. But I think he's going to be the first to leave. Because I think the others are wretched people. I think Pam Bondi is a creature. They have no soul. Stephen Miller, all these people, they'll all hang around. Whiskey Pete Hegseth, you know, they're nasty characters. They'll get theirs later on down the road when a new administration takes over and charges are brought against all of them. But yeah, I think that I'm putting my money on the first one to leave this administration is going to be Marco Rubio. Who do you think? Please like and share this video. It's very important. Get it around, spread the word, let people know what's going on here with people like Yarvin and others. I appreciate it. Comment, give me your opinions, but definitely let me know who you think is going to leave the administration first.
Curtis Yarvin's head should be the first head on a stake. Bring back putting people's stake when they do you wrong. His should be the first one on a stake. Yes. Don't let him try to exile himself or escape the country. Matter of fact, put his head on a stake on the tarmac. At the airport that he chooses. Put it on a stake.
Yes, I do. Everybody trying to disassociate themselves from this failure of a presidency. I don't know why y'all so nervous. These people are dumb. I refuse to let these folks terrorize me. Oh no. They're not stupid. They know what's about to happen. The man with the dead hand is even nervous because he needs the votes of the very people he's suppressing. Elections have consequences. You want to stop white supremacists from running rampant? Stop using your money. Money makes this country move, not this orange bastard. Dollar bill, y'all.
Yes, I did see that. And apparently, he wrote that himself. This man has a Substack. You can Google it. And he wrote in his own Substack, he wants to flee. Already. It hasn't been a year yet, and he's already out. Or at least he wants to be out. He said he's scared of facing retribution when the blue team, when the left, takes over in 2029. He sees the writing on the wall. He wants to flee the sinking ship. Already. I just have a question. Where's he going? Where are you going, sir? Nobody likes you. Every country hates us because of what you did, because of what you influenced. The people in charge right now, currently in Congress, everything they did was inspired by people like you, if not you in particular. You are part of the reason, if not the main reason, why we're in this position right now. And you just think you can just bounce? I get that you have a lot of money. I assume that you have a lot of money. But I seriously doubt any country would want you, knowing exactly who you are and how much of an influence you've had on where we are today. So he can try to flee. He ain't going to get far. And we have to consider that. We have to think about what's going to happen to these people when the left does take over. Because in my opinion, after what the Confederates did in 1860 or the 1860s, proper justice was not dished out. It might be time we rectify that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Go ahead and do your own research on this. Use ChatGPT, use Google. But he did say this. And that should tell you something. But stay hopeful, trust your gut, and always know you're not crazy.
I haven't read a piece of journalism that has made me feel this hopeful as this San Francisco Standard piece since before November 5th, 2024. So let's talk about it. This is Curtis Yarvin. This is the guy behind the ideology that this administration is pushing. Let's read an excerpt from his 2008 manifesto. So he's the guy behind the Dark Enlightenment movement. This is what all the technocrats follow. So here we go. The liquidation of democracy, the Constitution, and the rule of law, followed by the transfer of power to a CEO-in-chief like Steve Jobs or Mark Anderson. The CEO king could transform the government into a heavily armed, ultra-profitable corporation that could retire all government employees, oppress, and incarcerate de-civilized populations. I don't know if some of you may have followed me after my semi-viral post about techno-feudalism. My ideas and pattern recognition were driven from those things, like that manifesto. Yarvin wrote a Substack entry talking about how his ideology is failing, that the Trump administration is not accelerating things. Yarvin's an accelerationist, by the way. We've talked about that on my page as well. The Trump administration is not accelerating things as quickly to his liking. If it stalls, it explodes and it fails. And in his Substack, he's warning everyone that's behind his ideology, that's behind this movement, to have a plan B by 2029. And he's considering fleeing the country because the second revolution, and he means the Trump revolution, is going to be so much worse. He talked about how in 2020, their attempt at an insurrection failed, but that revolutions get stronger. And that as the Trump movement dissipates, these people are going to come after him. And he's afraid of also being under Democratic persecution if the Trump administration loses the Congress to Democrats. And he's afraid. Good. As Trump has been in office for like 9 months now, I've said that this ends one of three ways, right? Like, at least for our country and our situation, that either things internally collapse because you have too
too many cooks in the kitchen, right? They're all using the same means. They're using Trump, his ideas, his movement, but they all have different ends, and they may internally collapse, which then brings us to a power vacuum, which is also super scary, because what if somebody like Peter Thiel comes into place and says, okay, I'm taking over the country? Internal collapse, outside military force, but we're the United States of America. I don't see an outside military coming in, or the people rise up and resist. That he sees these things failing is good. That means whatever we feel like we're doing, whether we feel like it's powerless, that we're not doing anything, that we're not taking enough action, we are, because they feel like they're failing. This is good news. That means we need to keep up. We can't lose sight. We got to keep the public pressure on. We got to keep making these videos. We got to keep talking. We got to keep building community. And this just goes to show that even if you feel like this is little effort and little action and it's not doing anything, it is, because they're afraid and they see it failing.
I just heard about CurtisYarvin. One of my friends sent me a video that he wrote on his Substack that he's scared. And he's trying to get a game plan together, and he thinks other people should get a game plan together to leave in 29. That's good. That's great, actually. He's a complete psychopath. And he thinks it's failing. He thinks Trump's plans are failing. It's not even been a year, and he thinks they're going down. Hang on to your hope, my homies. This was the news I needed today, for sure. Excuse the state. I'm a bit under the weather. I got food poisoning. Don't drink out of wells, guys. Just don't do it. I don't know why I thought my supreme luck would carry me through this. It did not.
Americans are like, stand on business. Stand on it. We saw it coming. You did too. You encouraged him. You boosted his pride. You gave him that seat. He's doing what you voted him to do. No. Don't be like, this is not what I voted for. You did. You put us in this situation where farmers are losing, where small businesses are failing, where everything is going high, where American medical care, health care are about to be cut. You put us in this situation. You put us in a situation where CEOs are profiting much more than the taxpayers. You ain't going anywhere. Stand on business. Shout out to the people that have contributed in the segment. I love the energy, because indeed, shouldn't they keep the energy? Because they were against immigration, right? He's working on immigration. Oh, are they realizing that the so-called immigrants that he was talking about, they are the worst of all criminals and all of that, they are now attacking Americans? And likely, if they also start to criticize him, he will come for them too. Thought you were an exception, right? Well, the judge that he appointed himself, when she stood against him and blocked, that they blew her house with her family in. The first thing that you should be afraid of is not Dems. I don't think that is how they ride. I don't know if that is how they roll. The first person that you need to be afraid of is the beast you raised in the house. Go against him, he will come for you. And I know a lot of them, their conscience is now like it's eating them, the guilt is eating them. That whatever is happening in the country, they brought it upon the country, but they can't even speak against it. Oh, like their freedom of speaking is now gone? Now this is not America anymore? And where are you going to go? Like, where do you think you are going? Because, you don't like immigrants. Other countries have been watching too. They know who advocated for this, and it is you. And you want to go to those countries? Ah, wow. Well, should feel good to have white privilege. To destroy your own country, destroy your own people, and have the privilege to flee and go somewhere and enjoy life and be at peace too. When you know you started this, that so-called CurtisYarvin, you have, I don't know if it will play, but some of his ideas, the fact that he wants people that are non-productive to be and if not they have to be thrown in the jail. Does that sound like Project 2025 and what Trump did to the homeless people? Him wanting to throw them into mental institutions? Does that sound like it, right? And yeah, Trump is acting on the things you said will work. These are the ideas, right? And you think you're going to flee and go where? And go where? I wish these other countries check the political stance of some of these people when they try to flee. Just like Trump checks people's social medias when they are going in the US, because he doesn't want anyone that has a strong opinion politically. Yeah? I hope the countries they think of going to check them as well. And they close the door. I hope. Because isn't this what you wanted for others? For people that are trying to come and make a life now? You guys, you know very well, I am not for illegal people that are flowing and running into your country and using your social services for free. No, I am not for that. I would wish people come the right way and work hard, which definitely there are those that are flying in your country illegally and they are doing all sorts of stuff, but for the most part, most of them are really working hard just to make sure, yeah. And then you've also seen those that actually come to the country legally and they're being grabbed and slammed on grounds, apartment complexes that have Americans being detained for hours, kids being zip tied and all of these things. This is unhuman. But what do we expect from a party that says empathy is a weakness? That's what Charlie Kirk said. Say that is a new age, whatever term that has, kind of wokeness, yeah? So I wonder what is going on that is conflicting their conscience so bad that they feel like he's gone too far. We need to have an exit plan. You don't start things and you think you're gonna have an exit plan. Americans will deal with you before the Dems deal with you, the people that you manipulated themselves. In fact, the people they manipulated are already now pointing fingers at them and they don't like it. Because they are out there, they are influencers, they are famous. It is so easy to spot them by the things that they spew on the internet. And now people are going through all of this simply because of people like them. And they feel like they have the ability to run away from this. Dems, when you come to power, I don't know what you guys have to do, but every person that mistreated Americans, bring them to book. I know they are afraid, and rightly so. Because causing the American military to go against its own people, that is treason, isn't it? Or I am overthinking because I'm not in America. I don't live there. I see the news. I'm always on the media looking at things. And I like bringing you stories like this so you guys know. So you guys know. And when you see them going, blow the whistles. They have nowhere to go. They don't need to leave. They need to stay. Yeah, they need to stay because they are not politically persecuted. They are the privileged ones. They are the ones that have the power. So I wonder what is too bad. That is, hey, you F around and you're about to find out because even your own people will turn against you now. And now a lot of people know, hey, what do I know? I want you guys to let me know what you think. Americans are like, stay here. Bring your butt back here. I don't know how to curse like Americans. And I think it's a good thing. I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Just let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel as well. See you guys in another episode. Till then, my name is Gracie. Stay safe, blessed. May God watch over you. Bye.